What if rebellion today didn't look like shouting in the streets, but sitting quietly with a cup of tea? What if the biggest flex in a world of hustle is simply slowing down? And what if the accidental face of this quiet revolution is a Gen Z YouTuber who once built her fame on caffeine and chaos? Emma Chamberlain didn't plan to lead a movement. She was just being herself. But in a digital age addicted to speed, her story feels like an exhale we didn't know we needed. Known for her unfiltered vlogs, awkward charm, and chaotic humor, Emma skyrocketed from teenager with a camera to global influencer in just a few years. She became the blueprint of relatable content, showing up online with eye bags, thrifted fits, and existential spirals, and we loved her for it. She wasn't polished, she was present. She wasn't perfect, she was honest. Vogue called her the voice of a generation. Time listed her among the most influential people on the internet. But then, something changed. Her uploads slowed, her edits softened. The girl who once talked to the camera at 100 miles per hour began pausing, reflecting. In interviews, she spoke candidly about mental health, about burnout, about the emptiness that can echo behind all the noise. Emma wasn't disappearing, she was transforming. She started asking questions many of us are afraid to face. What's the point of success if I'm not okay? What does it mean to feel good, not just look good? She didn't rebrand, she reset. And in doing so, she mirrored a question rising quietly in the hearts of millions. Is all this speed making me happy or just exhausted? This isn't just the story of Emma Chamberlain. It's a reflection of something deeper, a shift happening beneath the scroll, a quiet, growing desire for presence over pressure. In the next part, we'll see how Emma's silence, the kind that used to scare creators, became the very thing that healed her and connected her even more. After the chaos quieted, something unexpected happened. Emma disappeared. While the world screamed louder, she went silent. In an era where creators are told to post daily, chase algorithms, and never stop grinding, Emma did the opposite. She paused. She pulled back. She let the silence in. She didn't announce it. She didn't package it as a brand break. She simply vanished. No clickbait, no scandal, just stillness. And during that time, she began to explore what few influencers dare touch. Presence, meditation, long walks, tea without the camera. Moments not curated, just lived. And then, slowly, quietly, she returned. But this wasn't the same Emma. The jump cuts were softer, the edits slower, the colors warmer. It wasn't just a vlog anymore. It felt like an atmosphere, like stepping into someone's unspoken rhythm. Instead of screaming intros and flashing edits, there was rain tapping the window. Emma making toast in the kitchen, a quiet laugh echoing down a hallway. She wasn't trying to entertain, she was inviting you in. And the response? Millions leaned in, not despite the stillness, but because of it. In a world drowning in noise, Emma offered a rare gift, presence. What she reminded us was this: silence isn't emptiness, it's space, it's sacred, and sometimes it speaks louder than words. And just when it seemed like this gentle rebellion might be a fluke, something deeper began to shift. Not just in Emma, but in how her audience started to see success. Her silence didn't just change the sound of her videos, it changed the way they looked. Emma's evolution wasn't only about presence, it began showing up in the aesthetic that surrounded her. And what started as personal choice quietly became cultural influence. The bold, chaotic, thrifted outfits she once wore gave way to something quieter. Soft fabrics, neutral tones, minimal effort that spoke volumes. Her wardrobe now whispered comfort, not performance. Even her home mirrored that inner stillness. Gone were the cluttered backdrops. In their place were curved furniture, natural textures, warm light, books stacked gently, and the quiet flicker of a candle in the background. This was not an aesthetic curated to trend. It was a lifestyle cultivated to breathe. Emma never sat down and said, "I'm promoting slow living." But she didn't need to. Her choices spoke for her, and her audience, millions of them, noticed. They didn't just admire her new look. They began to emulate it. Suddenly, moving slower wasn't seen as falling behind. It looked graceful. Choosing stillness over constant stimulation wasn't laziness. It was power reclaimed. Emma had, almost without meaning to, become the symbol of a cultural reset. She gave us permission, without ever asking for it, to believe that it's okay to be calm. It's okay to not perform. It's okay to just be. And perhaps that's the most powerful kind of influence. Not the kind that shouts, but the kind that shows. So what does it mean to live beautifully without needing to be loud? Let's look deeper in the next chapter. In the previous part, we explored how Emma Chamberlain's evolving style and aesthetic quietly redefined what modern ease could look like. But her impact goes far deeper than just visuals. It's about energy, presence, and what she didn't say. Emma never positioned herself as a teacher. She didn't label herself a mental health advocate or a mindfulness expert. There were no preachy mantras, no how-to guides. She didn't say, "Go outside." She simply went. She didn't demand that people slow down. She just slowed down. And in doing so, she created space, not only for herself, but for millions of others. While the influencer world kept pushing content harder, louder, faster, Emma stepped back. She exhaled. She touched grass. She logged off. And something surprising happened. Her audience didn't disappear. It grew more loyal, more present. People stopped following her for her edits or her thrift hauls. They started following her for how she made them feel. There was something grounding in her silence, something healing in her pauses. She reminded us that you don't have to post every day to be relevant, that you don't need to burn out to prove you care. Emma became a symbol of mindful living, not through intention, but through integrity. She didn't abandon ambition, she just redefined it. Success to her started looking less like a brand deal and more like a balanced nervous system. And maybe that's a kind of success worth chasing. Let's keep going. Because Emma's quiet revolution didn't stop there. Emma Chamberlain didn't build a slow living brand. She became one, not by design, but by truth. By letting the world watch her unravel, question, and slowly rebuild, all in real time. And that's the paradox of real influence. It doesn't scream, it doesn't sell, it simply is. She didn't create a movement of followers. She created a moment, a pause for people to see themselves. In a culture obsessed with more, she reminded us of less noise, less rush, less pretending. And in that less, something extraordinary emerged: presence, permission, peace. She became a symbol, not of perfection, but of process. And whether she intended to or not, Emma started something bigger than content. She started a quiet revolution, one breath, one cup of tea, one slow, awkward morning at a time. So if this story stirred something in you, Don't scroll past it. Take a breath. Share this video with someone who's been moving too fast. Comment below. What does slow living look like in your life? Subscribe to Mindful Way TV, where silence is sacred, presence is power, and stories become medicine. Because the softest steps often make the deepest marks. And sometimes, going slower is how we finally catch up to ourselves.